to the Making Stories podcast. My name is Claire. I'm the marketing and social media manager here at Making Stories. Over there in the split screen somewhere is my lovely friend and colleague Hanna, and we're part of the Making Stories team. This is our podcast all about the going on behind the scenes, the big focus on sustainability. We talk all things shop updates, what we're up to, future works, but more importantly, what is on our needles, because we love to knit and tell you all what we're knitting. So welcome. I'm going to throw you over to my lovely Hanna, who's got some exciting shop updates for you. What have we been doing?
Yay! Welcome everyone. I'm like, what have we been doing? I don't know. I have been juggling work and family life because our little one is sick back to back apparently. Well, he's all better now, so it's all good and back in daycare, and it was not COVID, so everything's fine. But if I'm a little bit more frazzled or frantic than usual, that is why, because my brain feels like an overflowing bucket. That's not a very nice picture. Let's talk about exciting.
It is overflowing buckets, though. I think that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. So, we have an episode filled with lots of different bits and pieces. So, come in, settle in, grab a cup of coffee or tea and you're knitting, and we're going to be here for like half an hour, maybe a little longer. And the first thing I think that I'm going to talk about and supposed to be talking about is the indie pattern marketplace. Is that right? We talked about this 5 minutes ago. This is my brain. So that thing apparently flowed out of the bucket. So yeah, but it's something really, really exciting. So we quietly launched something new at the end of last year, and February is all about vocally celebrating this launch because we now have an indie pattern marketplace available on our website. What does that mean? For quite some time, a lot of you lovely viewers and customers have been asking whether we would be selling individual PDFs of the patterns from our magazines. And that has been something that we've been working on behind the scenes for the last few months, and that we finally launched towards the end of last year. And all of those patterns, not all of those patterns, but we do have quite a lot of patterns already on there, and we're continuously adding new patterns, both from the magazines that have just recently launched, as well as collections from a few years back, because there are some gorgeous patterns in there. And I'm so excited. Like, we are all so excited that we now finally have them on the website. How does that work? It just works like you would buy a PDF pattern on any other website. You put it in your cart, you check out, and you get a download link to it. And we're currently working on integrating a new app into our website that will also then make those downloads available to you in your customer account. So it's a little bit like a Ravelry library. So
cool.
Every time that you purchase a pattern through us, just gets put into sort of your own personal library, and you can access it at any
That's
point
really
in time.
Fun. I didn't know that.
It is. Yeah, I know. It's a surprise. That has been something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And then the other day, I just started checking out Shopify apps, and I found a really good one for that. And so, yeah, I still have to do the final bits of the setup, but then, we should be good to go. And also, if you have purchased a PDF pattern from us before, then we will be able to integrate those into your account as well.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So
yay.
Yeah, so that is a really nice thing. So you'll be seeing us talking and sharing quite a bit about different patterns, both on social media as well as in our newsletter. So those are some really good places, just if you're curious about all of the patterns that we have. You can always go to the website making-stories.com and then just click on the gigantic banner that is up on the homepage, and it will take you to all of the patterns and to all of the kits. Because the other thing that comes with launching those individual pattern PDFs is that it also allows us to finally offer some more kits. And we have put a few on the website already. We shared a little bit about the Alticumulus kits, I think, in the last podcast episode for a beautiful shawl from issue 6. But there are a few more up on the website now, and we'll continue adding those throughout the month of February, but then also afterwards. So the way that the kits work is that you always get the yarn for the pattern in a quantity that's big enough to knit whichever size you chose, plus there's always a little bit extra for you to swatch, and if there's anything like pom-pom or tassels, also enough for that. So basically you have all of the yarn that you need to complete the project. And then you have 3 or 4 options on the pattern, depending on which kit it is and which pattern it belongs to. So you can choose to add the single PDF pattern. You can also choose to add a digital version of the magazine or collection that it first appeared in. And if it's available still, you can also choose to add a print version of the magazine that the pattern first appeared in. So some of them are sold out. Issue 5 is completely sold out. We have a handful of copies of issue 6 left. But for those, you can always get the bundling with the digital version. And there's also a 4th option without any pattern at all. If you already have the collection or the magazine that the pattern is from, then you can also just purchase the yarn in a bundle. So yeah, I'm just so thrilled. I think that, you know, the indie pattern marketplace is a wonderful way for us to support both you, our customers, but also the designers for giving them another channel to sell their patterns. We are not making a lot of money off of this. Like, we're just covering our costs with the fees that we have. Claire has written a blog post about this. Maybe we can link to that in the down bar below. So if you're curious about the fee structure and things like that, we're completely transparent about that. We just think it's an awesome way to give all of you lovelies something that you've been wanting for a while, which is the individual PDF patterns, and the designers another way to sell their patterns.
I'm so excited about it. One of the things I've loved about having the indie pattern marketplace as well is we got to delve into some of the patterns. So before we started the magazine, we had Woods and Breeze and Jewels, and we had so many beautiful digital collections. So it's been really nice because we have some of the patterns available from those publications too. So I've just had the best time kind of going through and rediscovering some of those patterns, which have now jumped on my making list, which is longer than I don't know what. When I'll get to do them all, I have no idea. But no, that's really exciting. So if you've kind of joined us or discovered us kind of through the magazine or only recently, that's a really good spot to go in and kind of discover some patterns that maybe you haven't seen before of some of our other collections, because we have tons of really talented designers we've been working with since we began. So there's some lovely patterns on there, so definitely go and check it out.
Yeah. Alrighty, what are we going to talk about next?
What are we talking about next? Is it over to me now?
I think we should talk about one of the specific kits that we have on the website now.
Right.
And then you can share something that you have
that
on the
was
needles.
it.
So let me backtrack a little bit. A fun little thing that we thought we might do in February is just put a few different kits to vote, essentially, on Instagram, because while it's nice for us to, you know, think about which patterns and which kits we want to put together, it's always better to do it together with everyone who is like watching this podcast or watching our Instagram stories. And so we put a few Instagram stories live where we asked whether, you know, you would want to see us bring a few kits back or into the shop. And one of the kits that was super popular last year that we've now brought back is Yoki,
and it's gorgeous.
It's such a good pattern. So Yoki is from our issue 5, designed by Marianne Meunier for the Rerum Natura's Ulysse, one of my all-time favorite yarns, desert island yarn. It's a top-down drop sleeve pullover with a beautiful twisted stitch cable pattern on the front, and then the sleeves and the back is stockinette. Super wearable, boxy. You can make it as cropped or as long as you want because it's top down, and it's absolutely stunning.
Beautiful. And I've had it on my making list forever, and I've had a pile of the colorway Sage, which unfortunately we are sold out of the colorway Sage at the moment, but if you are into beautiful green shades, Eucalyptus is my other favorite shade. It's absolutely gorgeous, and we have that in stock with the kits. So yeah, I'm going to be knitting Yoki. I wanted to start it for ages, so as soon as I started doing the kits, I thought I need to get on the Yoki train. On the Yoki train? Bandwagon?
Yes,
on the Yoki train,
definitely.
And get making it. So yesterday I started swatching. I did my stockinette swatch. It's still a little...
You did a proper big swatch.
Yeah, because you need to... Well, you don't... Well, you should really do a big... You should do a big one. I like to be as accurate as I can. I did... So I swatched with the pattern, and I have no idea where that swatch has gone. I do have the charted pattern swatched out, but I know I did it on the suggested needles of 3.5, and it was way off gauge. It was too tight. I am a fairly tight knitter, so I've actually gone up 2 sizes. So the suggested needle size is 3.5. I've used 4 for doing this swatch, and I really like... I've not checked my gauge yet, but I really like the fabric that it's given me, so I will...
it's beautiful. I love the drape.
Isn't it gorgeous?
It's so nice.
I love this fabric, so I'm going to check the gauge this afternoon, but I'll be going with the 4mm, so if my gauge is off, I might have to slightly tweak the size that I knit, but yeah, I'm so excited. So I thought as well I'd show, just in case anyone's curious and you haven't swatched in the round before, this is the way I swatch in the round. I always make sure, so I knit a row and then I slide my stitches back and then I loop the yarn around, making sure you leave plenty, because you can cut your swatch, but I always like to just make sure I don't have to, just in case I need to use my swatch again. But I have plenty of the yarn, so I shouldn't. And then I loop it around and then start again, so you're always working on the right side. And one thing I do, if people try this method and they find that it's a little bit loose at the end and it gives really inaccurate results, I actually do, I don't know if you can see that, but I do 2 stitches knit through the back at either side, and I do that regardless of if it's just one colour. I do it if it's colour work as well, by holding the 2 strands together and doing those 2 stitches with the 2 strands just so it catches in. But if you ever find that this kind of ends up with like a loose swatch, if you're just doing it in stockinette, try knitting through the back loop for the first 2 and last 2 stitches, because it just keeps everything really neat and even across the center stitches. So yeah.
That is such a good tip. I will definitely do that. I've usually done that only with the first stitch, and I find that it doesn't make a lot of much of a difference.
Because you kind of need it to like really cinch those edges. Then you kind of get like a selvage, like if you had a piece of cloth. It's the same kind of idea, because that's what knitting is. You're creating a piece of fabric, so it's the same concept of just having a selvage if you're also a sewer. So yeah, but I'm really excited. So now I'm going to be able to, once I've got my gauge, late tonight I'm going to be casting on. So,
yay! Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be gorgeous.
I hope as well. So if anyone's out there, and I know we had the Yoki kits previously, and a lot of people have issue 5. If anyone else is knitting Yoki, please do let me know in the comments below, or if you're thinking of buying one of the kits and setting off. You could do like a little impromptu knit along with me right here on the podcast, and let me know how you get on, because I'm really excited to start it. So Yoki is top down, which is one of my favorites, drop sleeve, but it is like, I'd say it's for an adventurous beginner, so it's definitely got some techniques in there, and some of the instructions just to get that sizing with the pattern going across. So if anyone's feeling like they want to give it a go, but they're a little bit nervous about trying it, this is a perfect time, because we can do it together, and then if we have issues as we go along, or you've got questions about it, you can ask away on the podcast, and if I get stuck and I have questions, you can help me. So
it's perfect. It's perfect. I was just mentally going through all of the colorways that we have, and there are a few
gorgeous
where I would really like to have a sweater in, and I love, I cannot, I have so much swatching work to do for issue 7 still, to show the yarns that we have. I'm not allowed to cast on anything new except those swatches, but I really want to, so people get on those Yoki projects.
Yes, knit Yoki with me. I'd be so happy to be knitting alongside people.
Yay! Before we dive into the next big topic, I quickly wanted to talk about something related to the kids and this beauty that's behind me, which is our lovely Bindweed sweater cardigan also from issue 5. Crowd favorite. We have, I think, over 100 projects of that on Ravelry now, which is amazing. One of my favorite things that I've ever knit. And this was another of those kits that we put to a vote on Instagram quite recently. And we are doing Bindweed kits in the original yarns, which are Knitting for Olives Merino and their soft silk mohair. And we're doing them as a pre-order. So hopefully by the time that this podcast goes live, if I don't screw up anything, they will be live. And we will be offering them in a few different colorways. And so the way that this works is you place your order, and then after a certain period of time, probably about a week and a half, details will be in the listing of the kit. I'll place the yarn order, and then Knitting for Olive is usually super fast with shipping everything out. So there will be, a slightly longer delivery time because we will be waiting for the yarn. But by doing that, we can actually make sure that we, get as many kits as you want, because that's kind of been a little bit the issue in just putting those kits together, because we're still learning this, right? And it's always interesting to see, which colorways are super popular or which colorways are not very popular. And by doing a pre-order, we're avoiding that we order a ton of a color that no one wants and none of that color that everyone wants. So yeah, I'm excited to try that. And if you have not knit Bindweed, if you've had your eye on it, now would be a perfect time to then get a kit for it.
And I'm so tempted as well. I'm the same as you. I've got my this year I'm trying to use up as much as my stash as possible. So I've kind of said to myself, you're not buying any more yarn, which I think, haven't we all said to ourselves at across the years? But
we have.
But I'm trying not to add to my stash before things have got knitted. But oh my god, I really want to knit Bindweed. It's so pretty, and I want to knit it in the original yarn because it's just stunning. But so maybe later in the year, if I get knitting and I get my stash down and I'm allowed.
It's not that we don't have 2 issues coming up this year with gorgeous patterns.
That's the other thing. Because I already know, well, I see Merrymaker lurking in the back there, and I know Cigar's back there from issue 7, both on the top of my to knit list, and I also know what's going up in issue 8, so too tempting.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. It is,
very good problem to have.
Yeah. Okay, next exciting thing, easy read fundraiser?
Yes. So if you've been hanging out on Instagram with us lately, you might have seen us release a little bit of news about our Easy Read Issue 7 fundraiser. If you don't already know, we have an Easy Read version of issue 5 and 6. These are versions of the magazine that we've created specifically for our partially sighted and non-sighted makers. So we've been working with an accessibility expert, the lovely Renee Van Hoy, for about 18 months now. And we've created with her these two versions for issues 5 and issue 6. So what those are a completely different digital version with larger font, black ink, the charts are taken out, and all the written instructions are integrated into the pattern. So basically you can listen to it on a screen reader and it seamlessly will read out the pattern for you, so you're able to knit it. We would love to be able to do issue 7 easy read version, but the reality is it takes a lot of time, work and money to be able to do this, and we realized very quickly that after doing issues 5 and 6 it's just something we couldn't do on our own anymore. The funds just weren't there this time. So instead of scrapping it all together, we decided to throw it open to the community and do a fundraiser, just to really open up the conversation about it, let people know that these other versions exist and that pattern accessibility is still a very real issue in the knitting community. So we have the fundraiser running right now. If you would like to learn more about it, we do have an Instagram TV video that I did with Renee that I'm going to link below. I'm trying very hard to get that onto YouTube too, so hopefully I'll be able to bring that to you in another format so you can watch it. But yeah, if you're able to and you are moved to and you wish to help fund the easy read version of issue 7, we are accepting donations. I put the link below to a little donation jar where you can just, it's completely anonymous how much money you will put into it. It's just whatever you would be moved to do. We know that donating money, especially after living through a pandemic for 2 years, it just isn't always an option. But you can support it in so many other ways. Spreading the word, forwarding videos that we've done on Instagram, sending people email to let people know about the easy read versions, and just talking about pattern accessibility in general. So I'll pop all the links below. I'll put it under a separate little title about the easy read content we've got. I've also got an older blog from issue 6 that really outlines exactly what the easy read version is. So if you're more interested to read about it rather than watch the Instagram TV live, head over to there and check it out. But yeah, and if you have any questions about it at all, just pop them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer anything.
I'm so excited about this, and I'm so grateful to you for putting in all of the work and planning all of this out and then doing the wonderful Instagram live with Renee, which is excellent. Like, you should all go watch it, because I think accessibility in the pattern space is something that is not being talked about enough. I mean, there is one other magazine, the Fantastic Moored, the crochet magazine run by Alison Chu, who's also doing an accessible, easy read version. But I think often it's just not very clear what that is. And I think Renee and you and the two of you in your conversation have a wonderful way of talking about why this is important and how this is, how the easy read versions are and how they were different from our usual versions. And Renee herself is a member of the partially sighted community, and I think her work as an accessibility expert in this space is absolutely invaluable. She's also super really lovely, so you need to definitely check out that Instagram live. As Claire said, any donation helps. So we have what we call a tip jar, that you can donate, and we've also just set up a PayPal donation page, because we got messages from a few people who weren't able to accept to donate with credit cards. But money can be tight, as Claire said, especially after the last 2 years. Just spreading the word about it is also an immense help. If you're on Instagram sharing the posts that we've done about it, just telling one other person in your life about it, all of this It's just super helpful.
Exactly. And
so, yeah. Oh, and the last thing that I wanted to mention is that, I mean, it sounds like a big endeavor, issue 7 Easy Read Fundraiser. Claire has done a super clever thing and broken it down into individual patterns. So we're basically moving from pattern to pattern, and as of yesterday evening, the day that we're recording this, so 2 days when you'll be watching this, we hit the first pattern goal, which is really exciting. So it's not a all or nothing fundraiser. It's as soon as we hit, the next pattern goal, there will be one more pattern. So we're already able to do one easy read pattern, and we would love to do all 12 and a full accessible version. But we will be moving towards that goal.
I'm glad you said that. When you were talking, I was like, I didn't even tell people the goal we were trying to reach, what we were doing, how it was. Well done, Claire. Yeah, we reached the first goal, and which was super exciting. But just so you know, so we've split it in. We need to raise €3,600 to the entire magazine. So we've split that down into little chunks of, well, not little, but of €300. So every time we reach a €300, we get to do another pattern, and then when we reach the full amount, everything will be there with all the articles. And all the images are always included as well in each of the patterns. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited we reached our first goal. And yeah, so fingers crossed we just get some more options from issue 7 into easy read version by the end.
Yeah. That would be so wonderful.
What now? We're both kind of...
I'm just thinking.
You're thinking.
I think I'm thinking. I'm looking at this, and I think it's time for a little look at what's on my needles.
I agree. I was just gonna say, because I've shared my my little swatch, so I think we need to know what you're working on.
I am. It's just incredibly boring.
It isn't,
what's on my
though.
Needles right now. Not because it's boring to knit, but because I've been showing this consistently for the past, I don't know how many podcast episodes, but it's getting there. I need to get up.
Look how much it's grown. Oh, it's beautiful.
So, my Growing Ivy scarf, a beautiful pattern by Ayano Tanaka from our issue 6, also available as an individual PDF on our pattern marketplace now. Is a gift for my mother. It was her birthday gift last year. Her birthday is on January 17th. So we'll just leave it at that.
You know, who are you talking to? Chris got his sweater like 2.5 years after it was promised. It's fun.
That's true. I had so grand hopes of having this done by Christmas. I was like, it's definitely going to be done by her birthday this year. And then Oren got sick, and I got sick, and life got in the way. But I am way past the halfway point. So I counted pattern repeats the other night, and I am at 33 of 42 color work pattern repeats. So actually, in the home
really
stretch,
are.
Like, what? And I'm really enjoying it. So as you can obviously see, it's a colorwork scarf, but that is knit in the round. So you basically knit a big tube, which is super fun because you don't have to do any colorwork on the wrong side. Which if you've ever tried, I've tried this once.
No.
And I'm really, really enjoying it. And it's actually become my sort of just plain TV whenever I have like a few minutes knitting. And that is all thanks to our wonderful colleague Elsa, who shared a video with me on how she's knitting colorwork, or a tutorial video that where she learned how to knit colorwork with the two colors in one hand. Have I talked about this in the last podcast
because I think we only did this in between because we were all like, yeah, we got excited.
Okay. Yeah, we got so okay, this is probably gonna look super weird, but the way that because it's gonna be the wrong way around. I don't know. It's for demonstration purposes. The way that I used to knit colorwork was I'm a continental knitter, I am, right? This is
Yeah.
on the left hand. I always get confused with the terms. So, I would knit one of the colors with my left hand in continental style, and then throw the other.
That's how I do it.
So basically,
normally.
Yeah. Which is fine, and it gave me gauge, and it's all good. It's just very slow, and it doesn't really make it easier for me to pick this up if I only sit down for like 5 minutes, because Orion is playing with his Duplos, and I don't know how much time I have until I need to get up and play with him, because it would always just, like, it just requires a bit more effort. Now, Elsa shared a video of Woolenvine, who also has a podcast, where who demonstrated how she's holding her yarns, and she's holding them in her left hand, basically knitting continentally with both colors. So you run, or like I now run both strands of yarn over my index finger, and then just depending on which one I'm knitting with, just grab the correct one with the needle.
I need to try it because it looks really good, but I'm the other way to you. I'm a thrower, and the only time I knit continental is for that one strand of colour work. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it but I'm going to try it because it looks way quicker.
Honestly, like, this is about the 5th time that I've tried to change the way that I knit colour work, and I always gave up before it because for some reason I was never able to actually get the tension right, and like not even tension in the sense of gauge, but just the tension that not one of those yarn strands is super floppy, which you don't want, right? But it was something about all of those techniques that I was trying that just didn't work. Like, a lot of them have you put one of the yarns over the index finger and then the other one over your middle finger and stuff, and that just doesn't for some reason work for me. But this worked really well. Like, I mean, it was clunky at first, but honestly, like, after like 2 rounds of this, it already started getting smoother, and I was like, yes, like, this is so good. So I'm so glad I'm so glad Elsa showed me the video, and so glad that I actually was like, okay, this is finally the time that I'm learning how to knit stranded color work in a different way. And now I'm really excited because now I can knit all of the color work things.
That's so exciting. And guess what? I in my going through my stash, because I have like all my yarn in a cupboard and I have it in different bags and things, I unearthed, I kind of knew that I had it, but it's from years and years ago, where I started when I was first designing and I attempted a colour work yoke sweater and didn't know what I was doing. It turned out huge. I have some of the super soft. I have a ton of like just like a cream colour with and a turquoise, an orange and a navy. I don't think I have enough of one of the contrasting colours, because how many bowls of the contrasting colour does it take?
I think maybe 3 of the contrasting and 4 of the
So I've definitely got enough of the main, but I could do one.
Not sure.
I could actually knit one, like a whole scarf with the different colours in. So
well, I think that would look
me
beautiful.
too, because remember our test knitter Jamie has that stunning stunning one, which is all different colours going through it, and it just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So I might start growing at some point, but I was like, ooh, I unearthed like a little nugget of yarn in my cupboard.
Ooh, oh, that is so good. I think that would look so good. Like, Jamie's version is absolutely stunning, and Jamie combined a lot of different colors in a color blocking version of a colorwork scarf. And I think we were all like, what? How?
It just looks gorgeous.
And it looks so
honestly,
good. It's stunning.
I've been obsessed with it.
And so I think something like that, if you have the same background color and then you just do like color blocking of the color work, it would look so good.
Folks, I'm so sorry for this. You'll realise Hannah Lisa can't see the video because it's morning where I shoot here. I got my ISO all set up for the light, and as we're recording the podcast, my face is just getting brighter and whiter as the sun's coming, because it's morning here in Nova Scotia. So if you reach this point in the podcast and you're thinking, what's going on with Claire's face? That's the problem. I'm really sorry. I need to work out to adjust the ISO.
I love it.
I thought I'd just give people a heads up in case they're going through thinking, what is going on with the video? The light just came up in my house, so I'm really sorry that I've got this really shiny moon face. But yeah,
no, I love it. You're glowing. It's also obviously a sign that we've been talking for too long. I think we have one more thing to share. Or is there anything else on your needles that you wanted to share?
I have one other thing, but I'll share that next time because it just looks like a pile of floof.
Okay. I'm very curious about that pile though. So on to the last bit of this podcast episode, which is something exciting. You're like, Kipo, what are you doing? Issue 9.
I'm so excited.
So, if you have been following us for a little while, you know that we always plan ahead, and usually it takes us about a year and a few months to put an issue together because there are a lot of moving parts involved and a lot of people involved. And this means that it's already time for us to start looking ahead to issue 9, which will be coming out next year, 2023, in March. And the first step on that journey is our call for submissions, which as of now is officially live.
Yay!
Deadline for pattern, essay, and illustration submissions for issue 9 is March 13th, so you have a little over a month to get your ideas together and in a PDF and email format and email them over to us. I will include the link in the down bar below to the call for submission. But I think we're both very excited about the topic. We chose In Bloom, which was actually a viewer suggestion. Thank you so much. And it's such a beautiful spring topic that it just makes me smile.
I'm really excited.
So
I think it's such a lovely, visually it's going to be really exciting. I also feel like it's a slight homage, throwback to issue 5, which was our spring issue of 2021, which was Inside Nature, and now we're kind of like In Bloom, so we're kind of throwing it out. So and I'm gonna pop a little picture of the mood board up right here, which is just it's a feast for the eyes, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm just so excited. I can't wait for the design submissions. So if you're a designer, do check out the mood board. If you're not a designer but you have a favorite designer or a designer friend, just forward the mood board and the call for submissions to them. We love working with experienced designers. We also love working with new designers. We're always here and super happy to help with all of the questions surrounding pattern submissions, but also essay submissions or illustration submissions. And I think we're both just really, really excited to see what lands in our inbox.
I can't wait.
There will also be an Instagram Live on February 21st at 4 p.m. GMT +1, which is Berlin time, where I'll go live and talk a little bit about issue 9 and the inspiration behind it, and I'm also available to answer any questions. So if that is something that appeals to you, then just tune in then, and go check out the mood board because it is gorgeous.
It is beautiful. Honest to goodness, I cannot wait to see what people put in the ideas, because I think there's going to be some really interesting things that come out of that mood board. So
yeah. Alrighty, I think that's it for today.
Yeah, I think so too.
Whoa.
We got to the end.
Whirlwind of an episode. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Do knit clear alongside your tea. What am I even talking about?
It has definitely been one of those weeks.
Yep. Do knit Yoki alongside Claire. It's an excellent opportunity for an impromptu cal.
Let's do it.
Wonderful.
I'm excited.
And we will see you back here in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Lovely. Yay!
And then it's almost March. And then what?
Don't.
It's almost time for issue 7.
Don't
What?
even. How is it nearly to March? We just had Christmas.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Madness.
Alrighty.
Thanks for joining us.
Time for us to go. Thank you so much. Oh, do hit the subscribe button or the like
We're so
button,
good at this.
if you like what you saw. We are very, very good. But we thoroughly, really, really enjoy recording these podcast episodes. And it's always so lovely to hear from you in the comments down below. So, do let us know if you like this episode. Do let us know if you are knitting Yoki or planning to knit Yoki or have knit Yoki. Or else what's on your needles, because we're always curious.
Tell us about
that.
your knits.
Yeah. Alrighty, lovelies.
Bye.